But Charlie Kirk, one thing that has been interesting is, of course, there's been so many different angles that the actual murder was being filmed in. And one of the challenges is with a lot of these angles, with the 4K, the HDs, all that kind of stuff, it's starting to look less likely that the trajectory matches the trajectory that that kid would have from that roof. Now, this kid supposedly has fessed up to it by way of these text messages that we saw a Word document transcript of. So they theoretically exist. We, of course, have not heard from the roommate either, roommate/partner. And all we know is that the parents said, well, he fessed to it, and we convinced him to turn himself in, And that's the story. And that apparently they're not getting him a lawyer because he filed the paperwork to get a public defender. I imagine if your son just murdered somebody and you're pretty sure he did it, you wouldn't be quick to be like, let me pay to get you an expensive lawyer that we're going to lose our house over. But it still seems like, I don't know, maybe you try to get at least some sort of lawyer that's not a public defender. And maybe they will. These, you can file changes later. Maybe it's just don't pay the money to get through the opening, not guilty plea or something. I don't know. But I didn't pull up all these just because there's 1,000 different theories. We saw one where it looked like the trajectory is coming in from behind, kind of in here and then out. And they slow down. You can see what looks like a projectile flying there. The head movement reaction kind of matches that as well. In one of these, they gave a theory about where the possible shooter was. Maybe hiding behind a shrubbery or what have you. When I kind of dug into it, just using other clips that are floating around, the thing that the person thought, hey, maybe this could be it. There's still a thing like a trash can or whatever it is. That's the exact same height, exact same shape, still there now. So, I mean, it's possible someone could have been really crouched down. And, anything's possible, I suppose. But I don't think that location is likely. Of course, you had the ones where they go, well, why not the mic pack? What if the mic pack had a projectile in it? Which I think might ignore the thing you see flying through the air on that one video. But there is funkiness in the back of his shirt, the way the shirt poofs out. That is a very strange poof, for a t-shirt. It's a lot of pressure going outward. So I don't know. It's strange. Old Candace Owens on it, she also, surprise, has doubts. And I don't know, it's kind of a weird thing. But I mean, we're not going to do too deep of a dive on this, but what are some of your thoughts,
Well, I mean, based on the fact that, what we're seeing, multiple theories and contradictory to certain theories that are very accurate, but then obviously like the projectile, I think there's multiple projectiles going on to like as a contingency. I don't know. I don't know.
The question is like, what we've been told is that there's only an entrance wound, I guess here, but and no exit wound that it hit a bone and stopped, which people are calling somewhat miraculous. I mean, it's possible for sure. It's definitely possible. So, that's the thing. Like if there was an entrance, it would likely be for this thing to make sense with the size of like the exit wound and everything. It would need to be something kind of tight, like a 223 or something, nothing too big. Otherwise, like a 30-06 or whatever, it'd be pretty bad.
Like there'd be a splash zone.
Yeah, like it would be pretty graphic, So that's the thing. We haven't been told about any other points of impact or any wounds. So I don't know. Makes a good story. Turning Point USA. It's always like actually it's the lack of exit wound basically means that Charlie was able to save other people's lives by his body stopping the bullet from going all the way through because there's people standing right behind him. So there might have been, might have been some other folks hurt. There's people who were eyewitnesses that said that they go, no, that's not the gun. I didn't see a hunting rifle in the guy's hands. I saw something smaller, look more like an AR build, And so for whatever that's worth, the question of course comes at some point. Okay, so mic pack weapon or a second shooter or combination thereof. It can't, especially if there's some sort of like hidden device. If there's that kind of thing, we're not talking about some trans organization that's like angry about evangelical stuff, So then you go, what foreign nation or domestic, like what would be the motivation here? Like, what is the motivation? And we hear the thing, oh, he's been changing his mind on Israel. It's like, okay, I mean, kind of here and there, but he was a very pro-Israel kind of guy, and so even like his questions on October 7th, he's far from the only person who has had questions about the timeline, and he's not even it's not even like his cause, He when asked about it, he asked a question. He was like, well, for example, here's my thought. But he's not ringing that bell. That's like not his topic that he's, shouting. So, the big bad Israel, okay, well, what would the point there be? And then like, okay, Russia. Okay, well, the point could be, flag it as a culture war thing. The LGBT left is now starting a violent, hot war against the right. So, Putin right now is not slowing down in Ukraine, even though they had that meeting. Trump and him had that meeting. Trump is after Kirk, of course, but he has begun ramping up the rhetoric that maybe Ukraine actually can take all their land back. Maybe they can take even more, grow Ukraine. It's a little bold, but that's what he's coming out saying these days. And so you go, okay, well, maybe if Russia needs something to destabilize Ukraine, obviously need to destabilize the United States. So it's like, all right, let's see if they'll go for one another. China could have a similar sort of path. You go to Russia with it just because the USSR spoke about this as a tactic, But I don't know. What do you have any thoughts on, what kind of who this would benefit? The
only thing is gaining control over Turning Point, but then again, I don't know what other than controlling the message that goes through. But was there a negative? Whoever would be interested in Turning Point, what were they against his messaging in the first place?
Yeah, and that's the thing. It was that organization was, it was his baby. We talked about how he turned down outside financing, ostensibly to not affect the direction of it. His wife, his widow, got elected as the new CEO, which means there's a board. But still, so like she's in charge, and he always joked, "Oh, she's more conservative than I am," and all this kind of stuff. And that's the thing, you can go, well, maybe she wanted it. It's like, well, I mean, she basically already had it with him running the show. She just, didn't draw the salary for it, but also didn't have to do like CEO work. There's administrative stuff that's not the same as sitting in the chair, doing the speaking and all that kind of stuff. You do wonder if you do go like, how can someone benefit? You go, okay, like theoretically, the right or the Christian conservative brand and power could grow with a martyr, So it's possible. You go, well, what if somebody on that side of the spectrum was like, well, we'll have a martyr, it'll kick off this, money comes flowing in, we do this, we do that. I don't know exactly what, but I don't know. That's the only way I can think of an entity other than just a psycho kind of person killing them could like benefit, like to have a conspiracy, to have something. There's got to be a reason,
Well, I mean, maybe there was a plan and he either wasn't on board with it or they didn't think he could, but she would.
Bum, bum, bum.
But we're gonna get into my conspiratorial side, and
Which
we don't have time for.